Greetings, boys and girls. This is your favorite game master, dungeon master, Emperor Jonwayne Frankenstein, coming at you almost live from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And today we are going to use the new D&D 2024 to break the Sorcerer class. And to start this out, we're going to use the premise that it has. It is completely backwards compatible with D&D 5th edition in 2014. And to start that out, we're going to choose this race. And this race is essential to making the ultimate broken sorcerer. We're going to choose the Auto Gnome, which comes from the Spelljammer's rulebook. Now, this creature just works so well for the sorcerer, and probably works pretty well for the wizard too, to be honest. That's not even funny. To start out with, you gain the creature type construct, which is actually a wonky advantage. By being a construct, you're immune to spells that affect humanoids and other such creatures, which makes you immune to a lot of spells, especially low-level spells like sleep and charm person. Size, you are small. Now, being small in the set is almost an advantage. It allows you to ride medium creatures, such as another party member, and it allows you to change the shape of certain spells and fit in smaller areas. And it no longer has a penalty to your speed or your carrying capacity. But that's okay. In the original set, your walking speed was 30, and it remains 30. Armored casing. Now this right here is one of the sweet deals for a sorcerer. Your armor class is considered 13 plus your dexterity modifier. So you don't have to waste a spell casting mage armor to have good protection to start out with. That is huge. That is amazing. And it also means you don't have to take Dragonborn to have good armor class, allowing you to take one of the other new subclasses that are lots of fun and give you a lot more options. Your next ability is Built for Success, which means you could add 1d4 to one attack roll, ability checks, or saving throw, and you get to choose to do it after you see the dice roll. You get to do it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and they all get replaced on a long rest. This is like way better than guidance. Yes, it's very limited, but when you need to succeed, it helps you succeed. It's great. Just a great little ability that's even better than luck, even better than guidance. Now this is huge. This is one of the main reasons we took Auto Gnome, as we'll explain later. Healing Machine. So basically, whenever someone casts Mending on you, and as a sorcerer, you have access to the Mending spell. You get to roll a hit die from your hit dice that you get to normally roll on a long rest and whatnot. We get a number of hit points equal to it, plus your Constitution modifier. Free healing. Also, you are still able to be affected by spells that don't normally affect constructs that heal you, including Cure Wounds, Mass Cure Wounds, Healing Word, Mass Healing Words, Spare the Dying, etc., etc. So you get all the benefits of normal healing, plus you get Mending. Yay! And that's going to be appropriate later. Now you get Mechanical Nature, which means you have resistance to poison damage and immunity to disease. That's always nice to start out with, especially considering how many things have poison damage. You have advantage of saving throws against being paralyzed or poisoned, and you don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. So, wow! Look at all that environmental stuff you're immune to, and basically, you've already won any of those environmental challenging adventures that the DM may create. Then you have Sentry's Rest, which basically you have to be inactive for 6 hours for a long rest, but you're still conscious and alert. So you can literally be on guard while taking your rest, which takes 2 hours less than it takes everyone else.
Wow! Then you get specialized design. You get 2 tool proficiencies of your choice with this feature. Now, the tool proficiencies I chose for this character I'm creating is Thieves' Tools, as you'll see later, because it really works for this character. And, of course, Calligraphy, because having access to calligraphy allows you to create scrolls without having to take the Arcanum skill. And now the new rules say that you automatically get to speak 3 languages, common and 2 other languages. Well, since you're an Autodome, probably Gnomish. And as for your other language, whatever the campaign suggests would be good. Um, since technically speaking, this comes from the outer space race, Celestial would be highly appropriate. But because you're kind of created by Feywild creatures, if you choose to be a gnome, I mean, basically this just lets you be a short robot like R2D2 or Twiggy from Buck Rogers. You can look like anything you want, really, and as human or inhuman as you want. But Sylvan may be highly appropriate too. Now then, the next part of this build, and this is why taking Autodome is real important, is you want to get, as soon as you can, a Blood Vial. Now, a Blood Vial is an uncommon magical item. That means that it should cost you anywhere from 100 to 500 gold pieces to buy. It means that there's plenty of them in existence. In fact, basically every magic user has something like this, something that enhances their spellcasting ability. Now you can build it yourself using the rules for 50 to 250 gold pieces, depending on how generous your game master is. So you want to start either building this right away or looking for one as soon as you can. Now what it does is it gives you a +1 on your attack rolls with your spells and a +1 to the saving throws that they have to meet or beat to resist your spells, which for a sorcerer, obviously, or any magic user, is huge. It's basically the magic user equivalent of a magical weapon. It also can be used as your spell focus, so this allows you to be able to cast spells without having to waste your time with material components unless they're consumed in it. And because you can wear it, it frees up your hand to do other stuff. And the best part, and this is where the Autodome comes in, whenever you roll a hit dice to recover hit points, you gain 5 sorcery points that you can use once, and then you can't use it again until the next dawn. That means every day, as long as you want to cast the mending spell on yourself, which you can do outside of combat, you gain 5 additional sorcery points. And boy, is that going to be great once we get to 6th level. We'll get to that later. So now for the stats. We're going to use the point buy system to min-max these stats if the best. But if your game master lets you roll, which is even more fun, then just bear in mind you want to make charisma your number 1 stat, dexterity your number 2 stat, and constitution your number 3 stat. Now using the point buy system, we put an 8 in strength, a 14 in dexterity, a 14 in constitution, an 8 in intelligence, a 12 in wisdom, and a 15 in charisma. Now, the next thing we do is we choose our background, which we're going to choose Charlatan. Charlatan has lots of cool advantages. First of all, it lets you increase your dexterity, constitution, or charisma. So you put the 2 points in charisma to get 16, which is great for starting out as a sorcerer, and you put the other point in, or the other point in dexterity to get a 16 in dexterity. So now you have 8, 16, 14, 8, 12, 16. Your proficiency bonus is +2, and your 2 skills are sleight of hand and deception. And you get the forgery kit, which, you know, goes really well with the calligraphy one that you're getting too. And the thieves' tools. And you get skilled. So, you're going to actually be able to be a backup phase or a backup trapster with this build when you're done. Because what you're going to do for your skills is you're going to take acrobatics, deception, insight, perception, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. Now, you don't have to take the insight. I just took that because if you're a backup face, it really helps to know the motivation of people you are dealing with. But if you prefer investigation or something else, you can choose that. But the other ones are extraordinarily important. First of all, they play off your stats really, really well. And, well, with your sleight of hand and thieves tools, you get advantage on picking locks and disarming traps. Of course, you want perception because that's one of the best skills, and to be able to find the traps in order to disarm them. You persuasion and deception both are extremely great for your character. They allow you to interact with people and use your super high charisma. And, well, let's face it, stealth and perception are the two most used skills in the entire game. So, there you have it. Your character is... Oh, and as for acrobatics, I feel every character either needs acrobatics or athletics to avoid being grappled and other conditions that it's kind of like a bonus saving throw. So those are highly important. So you have a character that's really good at dealing with NPCs, either lying to them or talking to them. And of course, when you get the friends cantrip, you get advantage on these rolls in addition to that, which is even better. You can use advantage on disarming traps and picking locks with your sleight of hand. And you're actually good at sleight of hand, so you can do sneaky stuff like stealing things from people, planting things on people, not letting people see what you're doing, hiding items on your body. Really fun stuff. And of course, you're good at stealth, you're good at acrobatics. Basically, you're good at most of the social skills and all the dexterity skills. Now, the fun begins. We take the Sorcerer class, and we get our saves in Constitution and Charisma, both of which are pretty high. And being Constitution, that's great for maintaining concentration on your spells. So, you start with a +4 for that, and a +5 for your Charisma saves. Of course, your Dex saves are +3, which is respectable. So you're doing pretty good at the saves. You have great armor class at first level with a 16, +3 to your initiative, and then a +3 to hit if you're doing ranged attacks or attacks with dexterity, or +3 to hit with your magic spell cantrips. Now, I'm going to go up a couple levels, and then for this build, just to be totally busted, we're going to go with the Aberrant Mind class. The reason we're going with that is, well, first of all, you get lots of spells added to your spell list, including Arms of Horador. We'll just go up to the 6th level for this build. But you get Arms of Horador, Dissonant Whispers, Mind Sliver, Calm Emotions, Detect Thoughts, Hunger of Hodar, and Sending. So you can see all these free spells you're getting in addition to the ones you get to choose allow you to either manipulate minds, communicate with people, or summon dark eldritch horrors to cause massive amounts of damage, or to melt people's brains. And that is a lot of fun. Now, as a sorcerer, you get to choose 2 meta magic feats, and I would highly recommend twin spells, which, well, basically for 1 point, you get to make a copy of any spell that targets a single person. So you're getting a second spell of potentially high level for only 1 sorcery point. Plus, you can spend additional sorcery points to make the twin spell a higher effect. So it basically gives you the equivalent of a second meta magic feat for free. So you could, zap one target with your main spell, then target the real target you want to hit, and spend a couple extra points to make the spell higher level. Say you want to spend 3 points, 1 for the twin spell, and 2 to make the spell 2 levels higher to do extra damage or have extra effects, you get to do that. That's awesome. And of course, quickened spells allow you to cast spells faster, and they used to give you potential to do extra spells around. Now you can do that to a certain point because you're allowed to cast a cantrip and cast 1 leveled spell that uses spell levels. But this is where it gets even more broken. At 6th level, you gain some extra abilities that are even more fun for this character. First of all, you get resistance to psychic damage, and you have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. Very, very useful. The frightened condition sucks. And now you have resistance to poison and psychic damage. So 2 resistance, pretty good. 1 is not the most common damage, but the other poison is the most common, so it kind of balances each other out, and it's nice. But you get this ability that casting any of your spells from your psychic list only costs 1 sorcery point per spell level. That means, remember how you get those 5 free spell points? Well, that's 5 additional first level spells, or 1 third level and 1 second level, however you want to pair it up. But when you cast them, it does not count as casting a spell from your spell slots. This means that you can cast this spell and cast another spell. So you can cast 2 spells around, getting around the rule that you can only cast 1 spell per level. Oh, and they don't require material components, verbal components, or somatic components when you cast spells, your spells this way. So essentially, it's like 3 additional meta magic feats all in one. Now, to totally break this you could do this if the Game Master lets you use the original ruling in Tasha's Cauldron for Everything for this class, where you are able to replace spells on your psychic spell list with other sorcerer spells that are enchantment or divination. And this is a spell I recommend you get regardless, as long as the Game Master lets you. It says it's supposed to be completely backwards compatible. There's no reason they shouldn't. And that's Silvery Bards. A first level spell that is a reaction, allows you to give someone disadvantage on their roll. Actually, you see it as a matter of fact. And then you get to give someone advantage on their next roll. Oh my goodness. If they let you replace one of those first level spells, Silvery Bards, think about it. You will have... What the hell? My computer glitched out. Hopefully I'm still recording. In any case, you will be able to use Silvery Barbs like 5 times a day from your blood vial for free, in addition to your 4 times and how many other sorcery points you want to spend on it. Wow! So the Game Master will start hitting you for that one. But that's just really breaking the character, and it only applies if the Game Master is using the 5th edition rules or allows you to use the backwards compatible 5th edition rules. So, at 6th level, you're going to have 5 cantrips, 4 first level spell slots, 3 second level spell slots, 3 third level spell slots. Now for cantrips, obviously you want Mending. I recommend Minor Illusions, Friends, and Messages, because Messages kind of lets you basically be like Professor Xavier and talk telepathically, and it fits with the character concept really well. And then you'll want some damage spell. You might want the new Sorcerer's Blast, or you might want the Flame Bolts, everyone's favorite, that does a D10, and at this point it'll be 2 and 2D10. Or you could do the New True Strike. The New True Strike is kind of cool because it gives you it allows you to roll to your attack with your spellcasting stat, so your charisma, and it does damage equal to the weapon, which you can turn to radiant, and at this level, it'll also do an additional 1d6 damage. So if you're carrying a light crossbow, you get to do 1d8 plus 1d6 plus this point 4, because when we get to level 4, we're going to raise our charisma to 18, so we get a plus 4 for all our charisma skills and spell abilities, and plus 4 for them to use for the difficulty number, which is actually a pretty good amount of damage. That would be, for 8 damage, you either use a light crossbow or a staff that you wield two-handed. And of course, this allows you to do both melee and ranged combat versus like the flame bolt or shocking grasp, but it's one or the other. So it allows you to do 2 for 1. And it actually, if you are doing, let's say, the flame blast burst, that's 2d10. So we'll see an average of 11 points of damage. Whereas the true weapon strike would do about 8 plus 4, so 12. So the average would be 1 point higher than the flame burst, which has more dice to roll. So that sounds pretty good to me. So, you know, you have your one ranged attack, your one attack spell, which you can use ranged or melee. You have mending, which you can use to heal yourself and fix other things. Minor illusion just works really well, especially for someone that's kind of sort of a Professor Xavier type. And, well, it allows you to duplicate all sorts of effects. Friends, to make people like you, and now they changed friends that afterwards they're no longer immediately hostile towards you. Instead, they know you cast it on them. But if you treat them well, they probably won't be too mad. And if you're a dick to them while they're charmed, well, they're probably going to dislike you when the charm wears off anyways. So, you know. And then message, so you can communicate back and forth with one of your buddies with nobody hearing you. First level spells, you get Arms of Hordor, which is a great spell. Dishonored Whispers. Now, these ones you'll be able to actually spend a point on in order to cast and not use a spell slot by now. Dishonored Whispers is cool. It does damage. It makes things run away. Run away! Run away! Mind Sliver. Silvery Barbs. Shield, because you know taking damage sucks. You have an armor class 16. Shield. Wow! Bam! Now you're really able to take some hits, even though you don't want things close to you. But should that happen? Sleep. A really good spell, especially for this character concept where you're manipulating people's minds and their perceptions. And Ice Knife, because Ice Knife is a great damage spell. It's kind of like the first level Fireball. You throw it at someone, pew! And it does damage, but whether it hits them or not, it does area effect damage to both the target and everything around it. It's a mini ice fireball! Pew! Pew! Of course, you could choose other spells if you want. These are just the ones I chose. At second level, you get Calm Emotion and Detect Thoughts, which Calm Emotions allows you to take something right out of a fight. As long as you and your friends don't beat on it, you can stop the combat entirely. Give you time to get away or whatever. Detect Thoughts allows you to be Professor Xavier some more. Read their minds. No more having to interrogate people. Just let the gnome rip into their thoughts and take what you need. Of course, Shatter, because area effect blast a spell. It's like the second level Fireball. Boom! And of course, since we're kind of a mentalist, it sort of simulates the telekinesis. So it works for that too. And then Suggestion, because Suggestion is an awesome spell. And it fits really well for this character concept, where you're a mentalist and also extremely charismatic and somewhat of a face. And of course, Hold Person, where you can stop a whole group from attacking your players, allowing them to go around and finish off other stuff while they're being held in place. Third level, you get Hunger of Hodar, which basically creates a black hole. I believe it's like a 20-foot radius, so it's about the size of a fireball. And anything that ends its turn or begins its turns or enters it takes like cold damage and blunt damage and then stuff and gets sucked in, and it's like complete dark blackness where they can't see through it. Oh boy! Then you get to cast that anytime you want for 3 sorcery points, and it doesn't count as a spell. Whoa! Sending, which again allows you to communicate again with creatures anywhere on the plane. And of course, we want the hypnotic pattern to take people out. Oh, did I say hypnotic pattern before? That was supposed to be hold person, which, lets you freeze someone in place. The third level one is hypnotic pattern. And, well, you should probably have something that does whole lots of damage, because that's why being a sorcerer or a wizard is fun. So either lightning bolt or fireball, but we all love fireball, so fireball, 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 and fly. Because first of all, you're a mentalist, so being able to fly around sounds like a great idea, kind of using your whole telekinesis thing, like Jean Grey or any of the X-Men. Not to mention it allows you to get away, and allows you to hover in the air while you're dropping black holes on people and throwing ice daggers, blowing stuff up, shattering them, dropping fireballs, raining death from the sky, messing with their minds, freezing people in place. Oh boy! So, in any case, that's my idea for this character. I mean, it's a sorcerer with good armor class, good attack options. I mean, sure, you don't get normal extra attacks, but hey, if someone tries to mess with you, pow, bam, or pew pew, you get to shoot them with radiant damage. And of course, you could always take one of the melee cantrips if you want, like Booming Blade or whatnot. But the True Strike, I think, works better. Oh yeah, you can do that and still cast a spell with Quicken Spell. Oh boy! And yeah, you have a good amount of damage. You're very good at talking to people. You can be a backup trap expert or lockpick when the party needs it. You're great at stealth. You're okay at perception. You make an excellent face. Maybe there's a bard that's a little better at it than you or a rogue. Well, that's fine. You can just use the help option to help them. You're immune to disease, resistant to poison and psychic damage. Overall, I think that this gnome rocks. I think that this auto gnome is sorcerer is really kick ass. Although I will admit, after looking at the improvements they made on Wild Mage, a Wild Mage might be fun too. So in that case, you just switch this out, the Aberrant Mind with Wild Mage, and then you just take all the chaotic damaging spells and stuff you could and be a total force of chaos and destruction. But you still could be the backup rogue and the backup face. In fact, there's something charming about a cute little robot going around blowing stuff up that's also really charismatic, but completely unpredictable and destructive. But there you go. That is me breaking the 5th edition Sorcerer class. The 2024 Sorcerer class with the Auto Gnome Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. Woohoo! I had a lot of fun with this build, and you know what? I don't even like sorcerers, but after building this character, just to see if I could break the system using one of my least favorite character classes, I had a lot of fun with it. And it's like, I really have a lot of ideas on how to use this thing. And it's like, now I want to play this game and play this character. Sadly, I'm always stuck being the game master and rarely get a chance to play. But if I do, I think this auto gnome sorcerer might just be the ticket. Well, until next time, may you pass all your saving throws and may all your critical successes come at you when it counts the most.